It is 5:31, and I'll call the meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. I forget, was there anything more that I'm supposed to say to get the meeting going? Nope. Okay. First up, are there any modifications or changes to the agenda?
I just have one quick clarifying question that I can either do under public comment or after we talk about the rate case with the crosswalk sign.
Is this instead of Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I wondered about just adding just other business at the bottom when we're done with our discussion.
Yeah,
In
so
case there's any
add
stuff.
other business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do that, please?
Yep.
We don't need a motion to do that, do we?
I don't think so.
No.
Just, okay. Cool. Okay, so that should take care of whatever you're gonna
Yes.
wanna bring up?
Yep.
Okay, is there anybody here from the public on Zoom? Nope. No. Okay. So we are on to item number 3, discussion and approval of electric department rate case.
So I've been working with Steve Furman of VEPSA, as everybody knows, on the rate case. We decided to go for the shortcut version. As a formality, we'll need a motion tonight to go forward with that. I have to include that in the packet that goes to the PUC. But one of the issues that Steve and I ran into is when we run the numbers, we are looking like we actually need a bigger rate case than that, but our justification for only wanting to do the shortcut is we have a lot of unknowns right now until we get the 2 positions filled and stuff that we can't quantify as known and measurable, so we can't count it in the rate case. So rather than doing 2 back-to-back full rate cases, which would flag us with the PUC and just make life more difficult, we wanted to go this approach. The concern was, on paper, we're showing that we need more revenue brought in than just the 1.97%, which is what it works out that we're going for. So this ties in with the ARPA fund discussion that we started last meeting. I know, Heather, you weren't here for that, but John and I kind of sat down and this is what we're proposing to do. I see a typo, but Maple Park's been on the radar for a while. The Lower Church Street's been on the radar and we've had citizens' complaints regarding that. And then also the Kate Bennett's crosswalk proposal, I would love to see funded. So our proposal is to fund these 3 projects with ARPA funds. That will leave us a balance of give or take the $236,000 and take the rest of those funds and insert them into the electric department for several reasons. The biggest one being there's not as big of an opportunity for grants and other funding sources to cover a lot of these projects for the other funds, where there's a ton of other infrastructure grants for water, wastewater, and even some paving projects that we can get, and sidewalk projects we could get covered. Right now, the electric fund has a lot of needs, just help offset with our purchase power. It's a lot higher than what was budgeted. We've already used 57% of our purchase power budget, not by any fault of our own, but simply because the market is so high. So we're gonna be extremely over on that. We've got the Kendall Control upgrade going on right now. We've got the weatherization of Village 1. We've got line upgrades for Boston Post Road. It was budgeted, but Dave ran me the numbers. It's gonna be, you were talking a 6-figure upgrade between labor, having to replace everything out of inventory. We need more poles, we need more line. And just the salaries with the new positions, we don't have all of that budgeted for this year. And then with the potential of AMI coming down the pipes, this ARPA money could offset that. So that's our proposal, and the reason I'm talking about it is to sell our 1.97% to the PUC. The thought process Steve and I have been bouncing back and forth is to let them know we have, this ARPA money that can offset the revenue that we really need right now until we go for the full rate case next year.
So it won't hurt our rate case next year saying
No.
you just dumped all this money in
It's
there.
a one-time kind of like grant is how you sort of look at it, so it's not going to affect it next year. Because it basically shows the PUC that we have with the 1.97% increase plus the ARPA funds, that's what's gonna get us through for the remainder of this year until we have all of our ducks in a row essentially and all our known measurables, then we can go for the full rate case next year.
And that balance that's left is enough?
Yes. Yes, it is. To offset. The 1.97% equates to about $80,000 in added revenue. We're needing like 270 per the numbers that Steve and I ran for what we could show on paper for known and measurable stuff, and that doesn't include, you know, the 2 new positions up there, all the work that's coming down the pipe. We have divers on site next week, so there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up. So with the cash flow situation the light department is and the lack of funding, other outside funding resources, this will help alleviate us going for a bigger rate case and help our ratepayers essentially in the long run.
Sounds to me like what we need to do, but
We figured that as well. I mean, when everything else going up, it's not gonna kill our ratepayers at this point.
we need to get on a
Every
more
other building.
regular schedule.
We do, and that is both mine and John's game plan for all departments, not just the electric department. All departments need to be on more of a schedule, so then when we do go for a rate case, it's not for a wage or an increase at the like wastewater department. I mean, our last one I think was 16%, so, you know, a 1 to 2% is pennies to the consumer,
Right.
really,
You can
versus
afford
getting
that.
hit.
And they will look at it a lot more favorably,
Correct, so
and you can't blame
right, so again, purpose of this meeting happening, as would have been on Tuesday, but is we need a motion to go forward with a 1.97% if this is satisfactory to everyone, understanding that the ARPA funds are gonna offset the difference.
Hey Sam.
Hey Sam.
Not too bad. Shoot, not even 10 minutes late.
It's like a new record.
it. Well, and he doesn't work in town anymore, so let's give him that.
I mean, you told me he'd be 10 minutes late, so I'm just-
So they just pitched that if they do the projects on the paper, take the balance of the ARPA money, put it into the electric department, and go for the 1.97% rate case, the electric department's kinda happy for this year until we can go for a full rate case next year.
Sounds good, let's do it.
The reason I'll give you the 10-cent version that I just gave everybody is Steve Furman and I have been going back and forth. He's concerned about selling the 1.97% to the PUC when we're showing that we need like a 6.25% increase, but we have so many unknown, known, and measurables that we can't prove right now.
This will buy us some time.
So
to really
this
do
will
it
buy
all.
us time and
The
hopefully
employee stuff and then-
satisfy the PUC to let us move forward with this plan, but we need a motion tonight that authorizes us to move forward and that you guys accept the 1.97% rate increase. And then kind of for us to know that you guys are on board with this plan with the ARPA funds.
And just to like reiterate, I know we don't have anybody here live in the meeting, but like you know, some of the stuff that you mentioned are also just like one-time purchases as well. So it's gonna prevent us from like needing to finance and other stuff like that. So it's
Correct,
like
like
will help us with sustainability. These aren't like new expansion projects that we're taking on.
Right, with the Kendall controls, we were gonna use the bulk of that out of savings, so that will help preserve the savings account, and we can still use some of that. The weatherization, I don't have the scope of work yet, I'm supposed to have it this week. We are gonna have to pay a portion of that, but in return, that's gonna save us on our fuel costs down the road. The Boston Post line upgrade, that's kind of a one-time, we do smaller upgrades, but that's a huge upgrade that we have. Obviously salaries with a new position. And then with AMI coming down the pipe, the state's funding part of it, but we're also still gonna be on the hook. So these big one-time expenses, it will cover, so then we're not passing that on to the ratepayers.
Great. I just wanted to, since so that we're looking at the whole picture too, we're feeling pretty good about like these 3 projects to maybe be to help with like the general fund side.
Yes. The reason we kind of chose these 3, they keep getting, well, the Riverwalk, or the elementary school crosswalk was a new one, but that one I think is good. You know, we get student involvement on that, I think it's really good for us to see that through. Lower Church Street, Maple Park, I know I've only been here for a year, but I know that's been on the
We
radar for.
kicked it a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so these projects that just haven't been high on the priority list, but do need to be done, I think will go a long way, and it'll help us, you know, that's $131,000 we don't have to finance or add to the taxpayers with the general fund.
Yeah, it's good PR when somebody says, hey, what'd you use all these ARPA funds for? We'll
Yeah.
say,
We
oh,
use
they
them
all
all
got
for
poured
you.
into the electric department.
Right.
Hey, we
There's
paid
a-
for
bit of
it, we
youth-
put in the sidewalk.
Where do we pitch?
There's a ton of infrastructure grants for water and wastewater right now that I'm comfortable saying with what we have on our capital plan list, we can definitely work on grants to cover a bulk of those costs.
Okay.
And we didn't have any capital projects this year at all.
Right.
Tax rate is skyrocketing, so this,
Yeah, the flashing crosswalk signs, I think and the welcome signs were the only things that we put on, and that was pennies compared to what we would normally have for projects.
Yep.
I guess I can call for a motion before I give the meeting back to Sam. First, should I give the meeting to you, Sam?
sure.
Okay, I'm officially giving the meeting back over to Sam, our
Okay.
chair.
And I will hear a motion to accept these ARPA fund appropriation plans
And
And
to
the rate
approve,
increase.
the biggest part is to approve the 1.97% rate increase.
and to approve the 1.79
9-7.
1.97% rate
Did I say
increase.
that right? 1.97, yes.
I'll move.
I'll second.
You have the first, Heather the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, is that it?
We did add other business. At
Is
the
there any
beginning.
other business?
I have one quick 2-second thing. The flashing crosswalk beacons are in. One is reserved for Main Street and Dickinson when that crosswalk project is done. Ken asked me to confirm, the second one was intended for Main Street by the rail trail crossing, correct? Is that where you guys want that one to go?
Yes.
Yep,
That's,
I think that's
From,
what.
from this is
That's what
Red
I-
Valley.
If
And
we're,
you
if
want
we're
it-
gonna do the crosswalk by the armory, it was gonna go there, but since that's
Right,
not
that's
going
not
on.
happening.
And do we
right now.
feel that the one by the rail trail is hotter, shall we say, than the one that is by,
'Cause there's
Falls
less-
Apartments and Wood Meadow Market? That one that's there?
I think it was to be more visible. The discussion for budgets last year was because that wasn't a very visible kind of crosswalk as far as it kind of people are set back further and there's more traffic. But obviously you guys can decide where you want it to go, and that's why Ken asked me to confirm that tonight.
Because they both have intersecting other streets.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people coming off Missisquoi onto Main with that one that's by Wood Meadow Market. And then well, I suppose it's even worse. You've got people coming off Orchard and Depot and on Main at the one by the rail trail.
So
And
with
there's
the
more truck traffic there.
Yeah,
rail trail, there's the rail trail traffic, but there's more parking blocking the pedestrians in front of Wood Meadow.
Yeah.
So like as a pedestrian, I feel seen more when I'm up at Mrs. Depot.
I feel like it's hard to tell. I don't walk much, I can't walk much, but I feel like when you're at that one by the rail trail, you're standing so far away from the road, it's like, is that person actually waiting to cross the road, or are they not waiting to cross the road?
That's why the decision was initially to put that one there, but.
Where like Wood Meadow
How
Market, you
about-
can tell, or at least I think I can tell.
People
But that's where we'll
can't
put the
see
next
me. Yeah, people can't see me from the trucks. I don't stand up high enough. I have to actually get in the road.
well, they just drive by and you're up to the wheels. That's all I understand.
Yeah, I think the idea was for a lot of pedestrian traffic on the rail trail
Yeah.
and people
Like
crossing.
traffic.
A lot of traffic.
So that's the verdict, put it there for now.
And they're mobile
Yeah.
too, right? Like,
I believe so. I have a feeling it's gonna be similar to the flashing.
yeah.
If you can have them make it like a socket where we can just pull it out of the ground if we need to. and put it
If we say,
somewhere
boy,
else.
this really stinks, this was a bad idea, we should.
Yeah,
look
we're
at it."
gonna have
Yeah.
to spend $10,000 digging it up.
Because like the cross right in front of Parkside is so long that, you know, same deal. Are you standing on the side of the road
Right.
waiting for me, or
Just have so many spots we need those, and
yeah?
it's hard to get those.
But
Okay.
all of Main Street's like that.
So we'll
Yeah.
start there for now, and that could be something we can explore this year, maybe about seeing if we can find some grants or anything to get a couple more for the.
It would be
I
nice,
agree. There's
it would be nice if we had them.
at least
everywhere.
minimally at least 2 more would be nice,
Yep.
just for the 2 places you guys just mentioned. So
Yeah.
okay, so we'll start there.
Pedestrian safety is rather important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did everybody see the email about the joint meeting and the agenda items? Does anybody have anything else to add?
I have one thing to add that I just learned about. I was at the library. And it sounds like there's just been some conversations, just like some I wonders for spaces. A use of a skating rink possibly
At the Armory.
at the Armory, and I know like the Trihorns have been here and there's
There
been
was just a
conversations.
meeting, not to cut you off, there was just a meeting with everybody up there and it's looking like that's gonna be where it's gonna go.
Okay, cool, because I just want to make sure that like we're not planning one and they're planning
Well,
one.
he had
We don't
asked
need
about
two.
one of the cars.
Jesse,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
the 3 locations came down to Maple Park, Lincoln Park, or the Armory came up because they have that concrete kind of slab on the other side of the building. And there was a meeting yesterday morning that Gary and Jesse both attended, and they were both advocating, and the town was advocating for that site because if it gets bad conditions, they can just gate it off. There's a old building right there that they can put some benches in for like with heat. So
Yeah.
they were, that's kind of taking the cake. Plus then it's not in the park and ruining the grass
Yeah,
and all of that.
Extra off-street parking there too.
Correct,
Yeah.
the parking was better, the location was better, so right now it seems the focus is gonna be at the Armory.
Awesome. I just wanted to make sure that we're all talking about it again, so we're not both planning.
Nope,
Something.
Jesse and us have been
We'll
having
carry it
really
over.
good communication, so we've all been talking about it all, so.
Great.
What else?
Sheriffs have stepped up enforcement on Water Tower Road.
Oh yeah, I went by yesterday and they had a car pulled over.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. Did I see a speed sign go up that way too?
Yes,
The speed signs up there. Yeah.
instead of
Tuesday
doing,
or Wednesday.
with,
I thought I saw it go
everything
through the
going
dumpster.
on.
I didn't know it came back from warranty or whatever.
We just got it, I think they just got it back, it was like a Friday and they put it up beginning of this week.
Well, word spread because I hear about it so much from people. Cops are sitting right up there. I'm like, oh, I know.
Grabbing
We
because
kinda
they have
told
to
you.
slow down.
We're well aware, thanks.
The speed sign in front of my house, people have complained that there's too many signs. They completely ignore that.
It is set in a little bit too.
It sets in and there's like 4 signs before that.
Was it ever, did it ever even work there?
No, we put it up and
didn't work.
the whole board was fried, they had to change
Yeah.
the whole board and then.
But I was wondering, could it be put up higher? Because you come over the hill and then, I call it a hill, between Hannaford's, you go up, you come back down, and then the sign's there. But if they saw it before they got to Pleasant Street,
We would need permission from a landowner, their whole reason, I think, was because you were willing to give us.
I am
permission to
willing.
Put it there,
Right.
and the reason it's set in so far is because with Dig Safe, there's water and gas lines right there, so
The gas
it's
line.
limited. So even if it goes up further, my guess is it's gonna be in as far as what it is at your house. And we would need, at that point in time, we would need permission from
Yeah.
another landowner to do that, and I don't know if we'll get that up further. I'm not sure who owns up further, so.
Yeah, they're both being used right now too. The one on Water Tower and one on Orchard. So when it comes time to rotate them, we can talk about that more, I guess.
Now, they just made the comment, different ones that, with all these other signs, they really don't spot that one, but, because it does set in quite a bit.
Once it flashes
Like I
at
said,
you.
once
flashes.
it's lit up, it might be a little.
Once it lights
Surprise
up
you.
at you, I'm sure it'll catch
Come
you.
out from behind the bush.
Yeah.
Looking at it.
It's also, it is still collecting data too, so that'll
Yeah.
be helpful for us. Kind of along the same lines, like, just traffic and squealing tires and burnouts, and somebody ran over my mailbox the other day as I was having dinner on my deck. We're just bent over, couldn't even see them. I watched them like bend over the side of their car reaching for something, and they just like ran into my mailbox and just kept going. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how many times does my child go to the mailbox to play with the
Did you call anybody? That's federal offense.
you know what, I don't think my husband did do that call.
That's a federal offense.
But it's just like, I've seen like, oh my gosh, my son went out to my car and then somebody squealed their tires, and then like I had to run out to make sure that like the tire squeals weren't because of my child. Sounds like I have a child that's always in the road. He's not always in the road. Promise.
You need a fence
But
for
he's a
him like the
child.
one you have for the
Oh
dogs.
my gosh.
It's gonna be a kid fence.
But I mean, he is a kid like others. It's just,
That's
it's
why I had a
been,
picket fence.
there's just been lots of new tracks on the road, and I'm I know we bring it up, but I'm trying to keep finding solutions, cause it's
I went
awful.
to some fireworks the other night.
Somehow we have to find a way to get rid of
It was
the idiots, and I'm
down
not
the
really
sky,
sure how we're gonna
a
do that.
white Mustang.
Because we
Did
do
you
seem
hear
to
about
have a
this?
But
plethora.
I wonder if there's some sort of
He's
campaign
my
too that we could do
cousin's
that's
son.
just like.
They have
so
to
it's-
care.
But I
He
just-
came over and he had
I
heard
feel like there needs to
very
be
good
like a couple
stories
of
about
things, and I
me.
mean, I agree,
So he came
but
over
how do we
and
do
he sat
that? How do
beside
we,
me,
where do
we
we
get to
go,
talk,
what's
and-
the conversation?
And I said, I don't know who,
I
but you got
just-
this white Mustang that's pretty rowdy with it.
Yeah.
He said, Same came, I talked with Same. And I said,
I know they
it's
did have a
you.
conversation, Sheriff
Younger-
Watchman was your
younger.
last meeting.
Well, there is one other thing
I
that
told
we
them
could
last
think
year.
about that we don't
I
have
think
the money
he's
for.
Or else.
What?
You started
Years
this
ago,
year?
we had our own
I
police
think I told
department.
his brother.
That's Brett, okay.
We had two
Okay.
officers. And if there ever was a time in society that, I realize we don't have the wherewithal, but if there was ever a time in society when a municipality needed its own force, I guess 2022 might be it. So there's something to think about.
What's that, at Enosburg Police?
Yeah, we had our own police department.
Montgomery did
Yeah.
too.
Then the cop got into a little trouble and police department had to go away, but that doesn't mean that's gonna happen again.
Yeah, I definitely, I personally have like mixed feelings, but also like what I keep hearing is like there's no enforcement for stuff. Like I saw somebody walking their dog and their dog's not on leash and like their dog comes up to us and I'm like, I'm not sure if this is a good expression on this dog's face or not. And the owner's just like, whatever. Something else that just kind of, I've heard a couple of complaints about are like ATV type vehicles in Maple Park in the winter.
On
but
Main
again,
Street in the summer.
yeah, but that there's a lot of our issues is just like the lack of enforcement too. Like people park, I constantly see people parking where there's no parking signs, and it's just.
I
things are
hope-
lax, things are-
I hope the town pays some better attention to, because they own the building, the Opera House, pays better attention to what goes on once all of those beautiful stained glass windows are finished. Because I can hear the stones flying from my deck in the evening. You can literally hear the stones hitting things because and they're pickups usually, not cars, just spinning right in complete circles as fast as they can go in that parking lot.
I can see the garbage complaint too, I was parked over there for a meeting.
But look, I mean, just think what those windows are worth.
So these are all good things that we're talking about. This is an agenda item on the joint meeting. Please be vocal, and if we can, think about solutions. The police department thing, bring it up. We'll talk about it.
Okay, happy to.
And we have seen, I mean, like Eli said, since last meeting, it's like keep emailing Roger, keeping him up to date on what we're hearing, and they have stepped up. And I understand there's still a lot
But of
more
course,
stepping
we
up.
only have them for so much time, so
much
there's only
time.
so much they can do.
Yeah, so much they can do, and we did ask to vary that, so it's not like
Alright,
the bad guys, if you will, get stuck in a pattern as well. They trying to get them to come here different times, so they can throw them off, if you will.
Yep.
So-
Can't be everywhere at once. But all right, I'm pushing this meeting right along because I promised it would be a short one, right? What else we gotta do?
I just wanna mention that somebody, was wondering about, so the crosswalk from, Main to Church, it's called the crosswalk.
Main to Church.
Man.
So like down behind that goes by
Gary's
across
building
from
used to be.
Parkside,
Yeah.
the long sidewalk that goes. What about it?
They were just wondering about repaving it.
Oh, the sidewalk, not a crosswalk.
Yeah, sidewalk.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
The little
people-
sidewalk.
People call it the crosswalk,
must be more people.
but anyway.
That could
it's
be
very
a discussion
confusing
for
to me.
Yeah,
budget season.
budget
coming up,
season.
too.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there because it was brought up to me and I just didn't want to forget it.
Okay, I'll make a note for my budget discussion.
When you're on your walk, will you please investigate it?
Probably as soon as I have foot surgery, yep, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay.
I heard like it's really just particularly like bad with water too.
Oh, sometimes, there's a little spot that is a dip, and you have to kind of, gee whiz. You have to walk down the sidewalk and go around on the grass a little bit, and then go past the puddle and keep going, but I understand nobody wants to get out of their own way anymore.
Is that it for joint meeting stuff?
I do have to just reach out to haven't heard back from the town on their suggestions, but we get to control the agenda this time, so.
So we can talk about stuff this time.
Yeah.
Whippy. All right. Any other business?
Nope.
No other business? Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
that.
Eli and Leonard, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Cool.